Welcome, everyone. Today we're diving deep into a myth that resonates profoundly with our human experiences, one that reflects the struggle many face with mental health. The story of Persephone isn't merely about the changing of the seasons. It's a powerful metaphor for the descent into darkness and the journey back to the light. Persephone, the daughter of Demeter, goddess of the harvest, lived in the beauty and abundance of nature. But one day, Hades, the god of the underworld, abducted her, taking her into his dark realm. Her disappearance plunged her mother into despair, and in turn, the world above began to wither, causing the first winter. The story tells of how Persephone was trapped in the underworld for part of the year, only able to return to the surface in the spring. This cycle of descent and return mirrors the experience many people have with depression. For those struggling with mental health, life can feel like they've been dragged into their own underworld, cut off from the light, joy, and warmth they once knew. Persephone's time in the underworld can be seen as a metaphor for depression. It's not simply sadness or feeling down for a few days. Depression is a deep, consuming darkness that can pull someone away from their life, their loved ones, and even themselves. Just as Persephone's world became cold and desolate, the inner world of someone with depression often feels frozen, disconnected, and lifeless. For many, depression comes in cycles, much like Persephone's yearly descent. They may experience periods of deep despair followed by periods of relief, much like the alternating seasons of winter and spring. Yet, during the winter of depression, it can feel as though the darkness will never end. This reminds us of the importance of support systems. Whether it's a parent, a friend, or a partner, having someone who is there, willing to help you through the darkness, is essential. Support doesn't always mean being able to fix things. Often it's simply about being there. Just as Demeter mourned and refused to move on without her daughter. Persephone's eventual return to the surface wasn't an instant escape from the underworld. She had to make a deal with Hades, a compromise that allowed her to split her time between the two worlds. For those facing depression, it's important to acknowledge that recovery may not mean the depression is gone forever. It may still linger in some form, just like Persephone's required visits to the underworld. However, her return to the world above is a reminder that there is hope. Persephone's story symbolizes the possibility of emerging from the darkness, even if it takes time and patience. Just as spring eventually comes, so too can light return to those who have been living in darkness. What Persephone's myth teaches us is that life is a balance between light and dark. While she descends into the underworld each year, she always returns to the surface. In many ways, this balance reflects the human experience of mental health. There will be difficult times, periods of sadness, despair, and loss. But there will also be times of light, growth, and renewal. For people living with depression, this idea of balance can be comforting. It acknowledges the reality of the struggle, but also offers hope that darkness is not forever. With support, treatment, and understanding, it is possible to rise again, just like Persephone in the spring. As we learn more about mental health, it's essential to destigmatize the experience of depression and understand it for what it is. A complex condition that requires empathy, support, and in many cases, professional help. As we reflect on the myth of Persephone and its connection to depression, it's important to remember that there's always hope. If you or someone you know is struggling with depression, reach out. There is light even in the darkest times, and no one should have to walk that path alone. Let us know in the comments if you have any myths you'd like to see explored, or if Persephone's story resonates with you.